Hello. Welcome to what seems to be actually one of my lowest viewing days. Welcome to Spooky Saturdays. I hope to gather more people here to come, watch, listen, if they will. I understand if those who have a day off finally decide to spend it doing something aside from listen to me rambling about things old, things long forgotten, things that may haunt you in your sleep. We're trying a new audio system today. I have located a delectable playlist of various sounds and recordings that I feel are very fitting. Will you accept me? Oh, I'm sure you'll accept me. Today I wanted to dedicate it to reading of what was written before, of all the old things of mine, and various things of me. Hello, welcome. This is dedicated to the Eldritch. And if you do hear any sounds from behind, I do apologize. The entity that cries out has been resisting the naps. And let's see. You have not shared my link. Oh no, I'm so sad. I'm just posting my links places. Maybe I could get a couple more views and make myself feel less bad about this. Stream chat? You'll let me post that here, right? Yeah. I hope all of this goes well. I hope you all can view finally. I just wanted to wait a few more minutes for it to hit that 10:30 mark. I was a little bit afraid I would not be able to stream today with my little lilybug being so loud. I've got 10 pillows and very comfy. Oh, that's about to change. So let's do an exercise in creativity. For me at least. Let's make up a story on the spot. Right now, just a little prelude. A small story. I don't think I'll ever forget that porcelain mask. That image of a twisted child's doll. Forever will be within my mind. Forever will I see that image. Look, I could only imagine to be a demon. The subject I'm talking about, the fear-inducing, scarring moments, was that of mine. It was a normal day. I got home from my normal work. I was doing normal things. But the baby's crying kept bothering me. Like any good man, like any good dad, I needed to do something about that. So, first things first, try a baby bottle. I went to the sink, see if I had any clean paper bottles. I didn't. Saw if I had any dirty paper bottles, just to clean up real quick. And I didn't. All of my baby bottles were missing. That's okay, maybe the baby would like some food. Now, I didn't have any baby food though. Look at the pantry. I had not even applesauce, which you can feed to a small little baby that's crying. And I didn't even have a baby spoon. At last, maybe the baby needed a diaper change. But I didn't have any diapers. Or wet wipes. This was concerning to me. Then I remember why I didn't have these things. Why I didn't have a baby bottle, a baby food, or baby diapers. Because I don't have a baby. So I looked to where the crying was. And that is why I saw that person in the mask. I don't know, how's that? That seems good. Pretty creative. Yes, very creative, Ben. You did a good job. Weak sauce, I know. I just came up with that on the spot, though. Let's read a ghost story from the many gifts of Tih'tulkd by H.J. Bendele. What fool takes gold to a graveyard? It is not my fault that they decide valuable things should rot and rust with the dead, while I, one who still lives, sit in relative poverty. I am owed these things. These jewels and gold should not be buried. The dead do not care for shiny things. Hold on. Bobby's being cranky again. What I do is I call early archaeology, but many know it better as grave robbing. I do not believe in ghosts. I did not believe in ghosts, spirits, or other spooky things. I believed in was paying for my newest sports car and buying the biggest TVs. I had a buyer that would not ask questions and a fine skill in cleaning jewelry. I also once worked as a security guard, which let go to different opinions on the concept of ownership. This gave me a good insight on how security works, what routes they took, and how to avoid the cameras, and who to pay off and when. This is all made my early archaeology career simple and profitable. I always drove no less than 20 minutes out of my town for my targets, finding it important not to commit activities in my own town. I have been at this career for some time now, years in fact, without ever being caught. But valuable targets have been getting hard to find. In looking for a fine target, I came across the Vhek'ith family cemetery, said to have extremely valuable finds. It started out as a cemetery for an odd family who worshipped some entity long forgotten society, Tih'tulkd, they called the entity. The entity was said to be the god of souls, or the dead, or something. All I cared about is that the Vhek'ith family's overwhelming wealth. The cemetery now takes in any who were willing to pay. The Zith family was a successful family of psychics, so to have proven their abilities to talk to the dead. They did not need to guess twice on a name, or speak to a crowd to get the right person. They would look at a person they'd never spoken or heard of about before, talk about a relative that passed, whom that person never spoke of. The Zith family gave information that no one but the dead would know. Phrases, inside jokes, vault combination. Amazing, unknowable information. The amazing gift of the Zith family displayed lost to all when the Zith family line ended due to infertile men and women. When it came for them to know the end of the family was coming, they begun to build a cemetery with the mass wealth they had. The cemetery had statues of skeletons dressed in black robes, grabbing chains that lead off to nowhere. The Zith family was also often seen wearing the same black robes, wearing symbols much like an X with a line down the middle. The wealth that was put into the cemetery gave it a good start, and with good upkeep and care, the cemetery still continues taking bodies to this day. Rumors were talked about when the cemetery first opened, about the wealth of those who were buried there, how the Zith family buried each family member with a jewel-encrusted symbol of their god. I knew those jewels would be worth a fortune on their own, but the occult symbol? Private collectors would pay billions. My plan was to slip in as a security guard. I knew the keys to the tomes of the Zith was in the caretaker's chamber, but getting in as a caretaker was difficult. The security guard is another story. Security was provided by a third-party company who were having issues keeping guards at the cemetery. The solution to this problem was to find more security guards, leading them to pull guards further and further away. It is well within a believable possibility that a new guard would come in that no one knew before. I scoped out the place, got an idea of what this security looked like, and was able to overhear some names and made a plan. The guard uniform was not unique. In fact, it was a quite common guard outfit. The equipment was also standard. It seemed to be a simple job. There was even a guard loudly complaining about the job, threatening to quit, giving me an opening. I acquired a uniform from a standard uniform supplier, as well as the equipment, and planned to make my entry soon, saying I was the one to replace one who quit. That guard's name was Davison. None of this was difficult for me. My many years of experience taught me the most important thing is confidence. It is the nerves that get you caught. On that night, planned, I put on the uniform, held my head high, drove the 27 minutes to cemetery, walked to the guard post, and informed them that I was filling in for Davison. It was flawless. Due to the high turnover rate of this position, no one questioned my presence. They let me in. It gave me a security key. The person equipping me also gave me a flashlight with a blue filter lens and asked if I was up to date on everything going on. In an attempt to get more information, I answered with no. He informed me that security was hard to keep in the cemetery because of the ghosts. The ghosts that wander and take the sacrifices laid upon the graves, and that they could be seen eating the food and drinking the drinks. Amber light or blue filtered light would make them no longer visible, but they were under strict orders to not put amber lights in a cemetery lighting system. That is what the flashlights were for, so that I would not see the ghosts. After I got my badge and was told my rounds and stations, I immediately broke off from my assigned spot. I got the rounds and times of all the guards from the guard break room and used it to sneak around. The nearest place that would be empty of all guards was a main cemetery, feared. That is where I would cross over to the Zith mausoleum. The main field was well cared for, with a large mirror that had the same odd symbol, sandblasted and inserted with rubies. The mirrors were no less than 8 feet tall, well polished, and showed a dark reflection of the graveyard that I was standing in. Cemeteries have a way of playing with the minds, and stories are told and rumors are spread. And I have seen many things move out of the corner of my eye, unexcepted before. But this time, it was different. All I saw was a shadow move. I did not see a face, and when I looked, panicking that I've been found out, I could not see who made that shadow. Cold shiver ran down me, and I felt a fear I've never felt before. I turned on my flashlight to try to get a better sight, and I saw nothing but a bowl of half-eaten fruit. The fear subsided. I told myself some squirrel must have eaten the fruit. I continued through the cemetery, turning off my light to hide my presence. I came to the caretaker's chamber and found it locked with a key. Not with a key card like I was given in the beginning of the night. I used my electric lockpick gun that I picked up on the internet and easily unlocked the door after I found a few snaps of the pick gun. No one was in the caretaker's chamber at this hour, but I did hear the whispers in the shadows. Closing a door and using my flashlight revealed that I was alone, aside from the holy symbol of the Zith family and a long, backlit panel with a bowl of half-eaten fruit. My research led me to believe that this chamber led directly to the Zith family chamber, as well as a few other key rooms. According to the scheduler, there were no less than 3 guards in the Zith chamber, but the guard switch was to have happen in 5 minutes. My scouting told me that these guards are lazy and slow. There was a 7-minute window between the guards on duty leaving and the new guards arriving, something that they will be punished for later. The 5 minutes were passing slowly, and I looked for a way to kill time. My attention turned to a half-eaten fruit. It was eaten much in the same way the fruit on the graves was, rotten around where it was eaten. Before my eye, the bite mark was growing, like something was taking a bite out of it. I reached to pick up the fruit only to find my hand meet someone else's hand, as cold as ice. Upon touching the cold hand, I felt myself capable of now seeing it. A shadowy, bony hand, and when I looked up to see the face, to only find a twisted, shadowy face, with eyes sunken in and drawn down, and all inky black and hanging low. It was a twisted image of oppression, fully made of shadow and darkness. I pulled away my hand with the speed one pulls away from a hot stove. The speed I pulled my hand away. The figure faded from existence. I moved away with such speed and panic that I fell, breaking my flashlight. I stumbled out of the chamber into the Tithing chamber only to find the guards gone. I only had a few minutes to grab what I needed. The chamber was as dry as a bone. It kept at a warm temperature. I quickly looked for the Tithing casket, something I never saw before, only to find that there were no caskets. The remains of the Tithing family were kept in open air, well wrapped, mummified, dressed in black, flowing robes seen on the statue. There were 5 members, with Arden Tithing being the most prominent and central as the head of the family. They were leaned back at an angle, nearly standing, with their arms crossed over their own chest, and the jewel-encrusted symbols proudly around their necks, and a holy book to the god they worshipped, Vhek'ith, laid on a pedestal in front of Arden, open to a page. We moved quickly after checking that there were no alarms in place, and took all 5 holy symbols and the holy book. The whispering set in again. This time I had no amber flashlight. I noticed someone paying homage to one of the Tithing family members. In a panic, I did my best guard's impression and asked them who they were. I noticed that they were draped in the dark, shadowy cloth. But it wasn't until I got closer to the figure that I noticed that the dark, shadowy cloth was that of the figure in the caretaker's room. When I approached, the figure moved away and faded from existence. I knew in the deepest part of me that this was a ghost. Still gripping the variable symbols, I heard guards approaching. I quickly rushed back into the caretaker's chamber, just as I heard them call out to me. In a panic, I ran to the other door that led to the main field, and begun to make my way across the cemetery. I heard many voices calling me intruder, unwelcomed, and I ran. I found myself pressed against one of the 8-foot-tall large mirrors, with my back to it, when I felt an ice-cold hand grip my shoulder from behind. I froze in fear. and a dozen more hands gripped my chest and pulled me into the mirror. Now I am forever lost in a world of shadow and darkness, where the spirits go to rest. Nothing to do but read this holy book to an ancient god of the dead. Never take from the dead, else they would take you. So yeah, well, I want some spookiness. I don't want to turn it completely off. That was a ghost story by H.J. Bendele in the book The Many Gifts of Tih'tulkd. Gotta be honest with you, I kind of like that. There's some parts that need improvements, of course, but what I want to do is take this thief that I haven't even named, by the way, and put them in a position. They're now stuck reading holy book of this entity for a very long time. I haven't even set what time period it's set in, so it could have been there for like 100 years or so. Yeah, I just want to make them like a super high priest or something. They're like super connected to the dead now. And maybe I should do a book on the Zith family. Or story on the Zith family. That'd be cool. Today's spooky day. Today's tithing and fear day. That doesn't necessarily mean spooky stories. Ah, it is hot in here. I need to turn down the heater. Oh gosh. I'm not interested in working on some spooky things on camera. I can't do that. Some of those things are... I don't want to ruin this for you. This is gonna be super cool when it comes out. I think I need more than 50 subs for that, though. You know, I think we can make this a super short stream. It's not a very popular stream. That kind of guts me down. Thank you for everyone who's joined me. Wait, no, I got someone. I got a new person. You know what? Give me a bathroom break. I'll be right back. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, three's a magical number. I don't know why, but the more I see 3 viewers, I'm like, oh yeah, I have enough people to play to. Uh, like, like, like Emmy isn't here. Come on, beat. You jerk. I understand that I'm still on my BRB screen. I just gotta do a few things real quick and you know what? I never even liked my own video. That's sad when I do that. Okay. I am back. I think I am back. That's the screen I want. Oh, marshmallows. Heck and heck. Okay, what should I read of? Today is dedicated to the reading of the Old and Eldritch. What do you mean what you should read? You know exactly what you should read. One of the old ones. What Thamir peers into? It's not my favorite. Not my favorite. Drowned All I Love. That one messes with me sometimes. Finding of Glenzanda. Message from the Stars. I think my favorite of my own writings, please don't think me vain, is either Ghost Stories or They Who Peer Too Deep. Oh, by the way, Emmy, how'd that birthday gift treat you? Did you ever get around to reading more of it? I understand if you didn't. Books can be exhausting. Especially when you have school to deal with. I don't feel like reading any of these. That's highly inconvenient, Ben. I don't want to because of school, but yeah. Oh, hey, I've noticed something. Chat. Where's chat? It cuts off. I can't have chat cutting off. Would you be in alerts? Chat. Someone mind? No, it's okay. You know what? You'll be right next to my face. Come over here, go. Bah! That works out just fine. I'm roasting all of your comments. Ha ha ha. Zin dint nit neo githa Tih'tulkd d nit agdin mnivdiz neo githa ganeth ap levok. You sacrifice in the name of Tih'tulkd. May Tih'tulkd give this substance. Many days. I have a entire book of little tidbits and translated things I have from stories and things I have planned and written. You see a lot of Vhek'ith here. That's because I have a book that I am publishing very, very, very soon. It is edited, and all I need to do is get it copywritten and published. They're edited by someone who graduated at the top of their class, so they're not like this stuff. They're better, I promise. I think what the mirror peers into, I should read it. Yeah, that was the gift. It's well edited and should be better than this stuff. This is a wonderful story, Ben. Stop putting it down. How are the sound values? You're just delaying it. Fine, I'll do it. What the mirror peers into from the many gifts of Tih'tulkd by H.J. Bendele. Once my name was Jacob Tanner. People once commented on the size of my nose, how it was larger than most. And my lips were large, and my eyes, which many said shifted between green and brown throughout the day. I was a fine researcher and a lead linguist. This is why you pre-read things. Linguistics anthropologist of my time. I spent many days in the National Museum of the Occult, where odd skulls and unspeakable scrolls kept. A find was made while digging in Central American ziggurat that was largely ruined. To my lab, they brought back many samples of broken stone, odd ruin, never seen before, and scrolls on a thick and glazed papyrus. The glazed scroll had writing in the same odd runes. The runes being made up of right angles trailing down over the page, and had an image of a downward pointed triangle with a line running through the middle, topped with a trapezoid. I immediately found that the scroll to be of great importance, that of which someone sought so long ago to preserve with an unknown glaze, that I would survive millennia. I began to cross-reference the language with any known language and found it to be wholly alien. Many times over I have translated and defined obscure dialects of cuneiform and ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, but never have I fully deciphered a whole language, fully unknown to anyone. I felt pride in this thought, that I would be in yet another book. I studied the runes on the scroll and marked where I noted repeating patterns and words. This went on for the whole day, with these odd symbols digging in their way into my mind. That night, they must have still been there, in my mind. I dreamt about them, and the way they could sound, what they could mean. Many sounds found their ways into my dreams, much like normal languages. Ta, za, mal, them, and other more complicated ones like Vhek'ith, Tith'tulkd. But somehow I knew they belonged together. I also saw the runes on the scroll. Imagine what sounds they could pair with. I couldn't help but feel deep within me there was something missing to this language. Like something that we once possessed, that we long lost after generations of evolution. Much like some sort of psychic, telepathic aspect to the language. Though where I got this idea, I do not know. The next day, I made great progress on translation, with the dream of the night before aiding me. in my translation. Letters made sense, and I was translating from the odd runes to Roman letters. The words didn't make much sense, but one kept appearing again and again, burning into my mind. Vhek'ith. It burned into my mind, lingering longer than the others. I found myself staring at the word, not knowing what it meant. I sounded out the passage. A passage. It read, Vhek'ith znt nith kendint zinkai Tih'tulkd. Reading out loud gave me, once again, the sense that something was missing. Some part of this language that I needed to express the thought and meaning of the word with my mind, truly believe its meaning. There was an issue with believing the meaning of the words. I did not know the meaning. I didn't know where all this believing in the word, believing in the meaning thing came from. It just was there when I spoke the words out loud. Later that same day, a tablet came into the lab. It had ancient runes of the unknown society, as well as some Yucatec Mayan. It was much like the Rosetta Stone with unknown language, much matching to the Tih'tulkd Mayan. After a great deal of research and translating, due to the excessive letter system of the Tih'tulkd Mayan language, I found that this was a contract of sorts. Mayans offered blood, which I believe to be ruby, in return for food and agriculture. What exactly the contract was about is not fully relevant. Just that what was in the Mayan was also in the unknown ruins. This was an amazing find, one of that some insane reason dig site almost discarded the find, as they thought it would just be odd scratches. I would never have mistaken this for just scratches. Adding to my suspicion, the dig team was incompetent. The translation was expedited by this find. This unknown language used adjectives after the noun, making a black hat to a hat black. The language could be written up and down or left and right. Many words were translated from the blood receipt, and after translating those parts, the passage helped me translate more. Much time passed, weeks passed, and many nights came. Some nights were dreamless. Others had the odd swirlings in my head, and that one word been burning in my sleep. Vhek'ith. In my dream, I was always standing on a glassy mirror surface, peering into it, the words and letters foggy in the reflection. I always felt as if I was being watched. I couldn't see anyone but myself in the reflection. The scroll was not that long, but the words were so primitive, as if written by Neanderthals, someone who could only use half the words they wanted to. I discovered words and meanings and was putting them together to thoughts behind the meanings. It was some sort of ritual, involving a mirror and drawing of a symbol in some sort of animal fat medium. Some additives were mentioned, volcanic stone or rare flowers, to change the property of the ritual. It was not for a few more days, with nights full of rest and absence of dreams, that I discovered that this ritual was believed by the people to be that of a crossing of dimensions. It is odd, as I write this, I feel more drawn to believe the ritual is real and useful. The requirements for this ritual are a large mirror, large enough to show your face and torso, some sort of fat or oil medium. I had a mirror in the bathroom that would easily fit the description, and the more I read about the fat medium, the more I realized a common bar of soap would do. There was one last thing I needed. I needed to know the chant. The ritual included a chant that I yet to translate. All I needed was a few letters, and I would be fully ready. These letters are key to many other parts of the scroll as well, and it is a fine time to note where I have translated a collection of words that led me to believe that I needed a mirror and a bar of soap. I have not yet translated the text well enough to know what exactly the ritual is meant to do. That there are words beyond the mirror that have something to do with crossing to that world. I dreamt the following night again of the letters, still on the reflective flat mirror, with myself and my reflection. The runes I didn't know were beginning to fall into place. The full alphabet came to me. From the alphabet was missing the Q, the R, and the W. Aside from that, most of the sounds were unchanged. This made me wonder if the language was that of a man, or if this just how sounds always made throughout the universe, or if it was just luck that it matched so well to the alphabet we use. I started to put the sounds where the runes were and begun to make work on getting the meanings of the words. News came to me that many of the dig site were ill, so to fall into some sort of madness, likely due to a fever, and that I may have been exposed to the same thing. I reassured my colleague that I was not experiencing any madness or fever and continued my work. I was starting to put together the words I had not yet translated. Not all the words, but enough. I found myself believing the words in the scroll even more as I read it. It mentioned the god of blood and undead by name. That word that burned into my mind, Vhek'ith. Talked about a high priest who was sealed away by the god of burning and sun, for no reason other than spite. Vhek'ith. The scroll also talked about where the high priest was sealed off to, a realm with walls as paper thin to our realm. This other realm was made of light and shadow, with dim gray shades of gray and dark shadows of what is in our realm. People existed there only as hungry, dark reflections of ourselves. Nothing but shadows of people. Many things were sealed away in that realm, and those things want to get out. Most forced into the realm were forced there by ancient forgotten gods of the society, but some were put there by people who were never spoken of again. The same realm happened to be the exact realm that every mirror peers into. At the time in which things were sealed away into that realm, no mirror shined like they shine today. No reflective surface peered into that realm. It just happened to be that the mirrors of all mankind came to be as they did, and came to peer into that realm, where the realm peered into us. This shook me, but not as much as a ritual attached to a scroll. I could not help myself. I needed to see if it would work. To make the crossing easier, you need to darken the room. For darkness may not work, you may need a dim light. Do be aware there is a danger here. Many things lurk in what the mirror peers into, and many things are trying to claw their way out. To signify the ancient god that the high priest worship, you must draw the symbol of the ancient god in the mirror using a bar of soap. Then you say the chant, looking into the eyes of the darkened reflection that stands on the other side of the paper thin wall of this realm. Tih'tulkd mahev d Vhek'ith kentuck mausen zahen dint Tih'tulkd Tih'tulkd, chosen priest of Vhek'ith. I call and invite. Come, Tih'tulkd, Tih'tulkd, Tih'tulkd. Standing in silence and repeating the chant until the one with no eyes or nose takes your face. This is my end. I've already been taken, and I join his numbers. Vhek'ith will be free once again, thanks to the work of Tih'tulkd. Now a little background on that story in particular. That one started out as a little pamphlet that I would jokingly print out and maybe give to a few people. It was just a silly little thing. But okay. But this does something. If you complete this ritual, it was good. Oh, thank you. If you complete this ritual, if you do as it says, and read this chant. You can read it in the Unspeakable, you can read it in the Translate, it doesn't matter. Something will happen. something definitely will happen. I will be unsettling, you'll be uncomfortable. You probably will be fine though. But yeah, that almost works. In the story of the ghost story that I read first, you guys might have noticed that it involves an 8-foot tall mirror with a symbol in ruby. And ruby's actually the better option here, but you can't crush rubies and inlay your own mirror with rubies. Yeah, that's just a bigger gateway. That's just a bigger opening for astral spirits to come pass through. But yeah. I spooked myself a few times with this. Especially works after night. So I've been at this for nearly an hour. I think I actually gotta get off. Apparently I gotta do a few things. Thank you very much for everyone who follows. Everyone who follows. Well, thank you for everyone who follows me, yes. Thank you for everyone who watches. If you've yet to subscribe, please subscribe. I very much appreciate subscribers. I'm currently doing a 50 subscriber goal for VR Phasmo. I'm not sure if anyone likes that, so I might switch that out for something else, because I'm not getting any more subs, so I guess that's not exciting. Yeah, if you guys like spooky stories, if you guys like Minecraft, if you guys just want someone to tell you that you matter, please, I recommend subscribing, because I do tell spooky stories, and I do play Minecraft, and I do think you do matter so much to me. Thank you for joining me on Spooky Saturdays, and goodbye.